In the early 70s, David Cassidy was one of the biggest teen idols of all time. Life magazine called him Teenland's heartthrob. A TV show called The Partridge Family and his resulting recording career made him an international star.
Till you check inside, but you ain't satisfied. Oh no.
The words of David Cassidy, in fact, while he was still with the Partridge Family, I think I love you.
Almost 25 years later, yes, folks, they're still talking about the Partridge Family and the current hit movie Four Weddings and a Funeral. And last year, David stopped by here to sing his biggest hit. Now, David Cassidy has written his autobiography and called it Come On, Get Happy, Fear and Loathing on the Partridge Family Bus. Hi, David. Welcome back.
Thank you. It's nice to be back here.
And you know what?
Hunter Thompson isn't watching this movie.
I think they love you, by the way. I mean, the crowd is so excited to see you. Look at them. See, you still have fans after all these years.
I have to tell you, this is so cool to be here on your opening week and being back here. I kind of expect to see Dave Garroway here, though.
Yeah, well, he's with us somehow, somewhere. Listen, David, I wanted to ask you about the title of the book, first of all.
Yeah.
Come On, Get Happy, I get, because that's from the theme song of
One
the
would
Partridge
hope you
Family.
would get that.
Yes, exactly.
After I think I love
Oh, God,
you.
you got to get up pretty early in the morning. But anyway, Fear and Loathing on the Partridge Family Bus. What up with the subtitle?
Well, I mean, I think that Hunter Thompson's book, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, certainly influenced. It was the living on the edge, the insanity of that decade, the decadence, the drug, sex, and rock and roll sort of was the motto of the generation. And I certainly, my David, I sensed, for me, there was a lot of David Cassidy that people didn't get. They saw Keith, and they saw that sweet, wonderful, manufactured image.
In fact, you pretty much dispel this whole squeaky clean image in
One
this
would hope so.
book.
Yeah.
Is that what you wanted to do? Do you
Yeah.
not like being wholesome and all-American,
No,
or that
it's not,
image?
It's not that. It wasn't real, Katie. And for me, you have to be real. And if you decide to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, you got to tell it like it really was. We forget that prior to the 1980s, when the world was besieged by this plague of AIDS, that decadence of the late 60s and 70s was prevalent everywhere. I mean, I don't think that we can socially think about what life was like without looking at it and saying, you know, it was common for people to go out to meet on an evening and to sleep together. Now, it's unheard of. There was no such thing as politically incorrect. And I think the book speaks of that era, the extraordinary experience I went through being an idol, something I never wanted, a loss of my own identity.
And in fact, it really sort of hurt you. I mean, you became very isolated at the height of your popularity.
Paranoid. Extremely paranoid. I think that it's very cathartic to write a book. And if you decide to tell the truth about what it was really like on the set, what it was really like to get up and go to work in the morning, and to be something that people, they presumed I was an innocent, when in fact my real teenage years, which were 3 or 4 years before, were very different. I hitchhiked up to Haight-Ashbury. I aligned myself with the political ideology of that generation. There was no question about it. I mean, I saw Hendrix 5 times and Clapton and all of those sort of cutting-edge blues, rock, as opposed to when you saw David being an actor 3 years later and I got cast as Keith on The Partridge Family. The character of Keith was very sweet and innocent, and it was a family show. I think for me, the most difficult part of it was having people perceive me as being an airhead or shallow, which was the fun part of playing that character. He had basically no character when they wrote him. So I tried to make him funny. And the way that comedy works is without conflict, there is no comedy. So Susan was very serious, and David, playing Keith, became this sort of airhead who was more concerned about his hair.
Speaking of Susan, you know, you talk about in the book on a much more lighter note, about the fact that your mom telling you that Susan Dey had a crush on you.
Sweetie pie.
So what happened?
Well, Katie, got to read the book. The relationship was one that I still I have great respect for her and love for her. And she was like my sister. And when I was going through all of that teen madness and hysteria and really losing my mind, because when you go through something like that, I couldn't go to work. There were people, you know, literally living in my air conditioning unit. I lost myself, and you need a few people to help you.
And she
keep
kept you grounded?
Grounded, yeah, exactly that, and was a mirror for me, and was also going through it in her own way. And you know, I love her and I care a lot about her, and our lives have certainly gone different directions. But you know, you can't ever be 19 and go through that kind of an experience again, and it'll never be for me again. It was cathartic to write it. I'm glad it's over with, but it enables me to get on a show like Today's Show and talk as David today and have people see me today.
Not trapped as Keith Partridge. And we should point out that you're doing really well today. You just finished a very successful run of Blood Brothers.
Indeed, and
on
still
Broadway
running.
with your brother.
Yeah.
And David, it's great to see you. Next time, come back and
Thanks.
sing. I think I love you.
I think I love you guys too.
Oh, babe.
Thanks.
Whoa. Anyway, thanks, David.
Thanks,
The
Katie.
Gadget Guru is up next with the newest gadgets. But first, this is Today on NBC.